The stage can feel like a throne or a trap. And sometimes the comeback isn't about being seen, it's about being heard. The late 60s arrived. Music was exploding. The Beatles sang of revolution. Jimi Hendrix made guitars weep and scream. The Doors opened dark, poetic doors. Bob Dylan wrote the anthems of a generation. Elvis Presley seemed far away, the king of rock and roll. But rock and roll had grown up. Elvis was still making movies, bright colors, silly plots, songs that felt thin, like whispers in a hurricane. His movies made money, but the fire was missing. He was a Hollywood star now, not a musical force. The raw energy of the 50s was gone. He knew it. He felt it deep inside. The king needed to find his throne again. The idea for a television special came. It was a time when television was the king of entertainment, and a special could mean a resurgence for any artist. The concept was simple, yet powerful. Bring Elvis Presley back into the limelight. Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, saw it. He was always on the lookout for opportunities to keep Elvis relevant and profitable. Parker was a shrewd businessman, always calculating the next big move. A Christmas show, safe, family-friendly. Elvis would sing carols, wear a nice sweater. It would be pleasant. It would make money. The Colonel envisioned a cozy, festive atmosphere that would appeal to families across America. The Colonel always thought about money. For him, every move was a calculated risk, a step towards greater financial gain. He believed that a Christmas special would be a surefire hit. He saw Elvis as a product, a brand that needed to be marketed and sold to the masses. To Parker, Elvis was more than just a musician. He was a commodity, a brand to be managed carefully, not a restless artist. Parker's vision was to keep Elvis within the boundaries of what was safe and profitable, avoiding any risks that could jeopardize his marketability. But Elvis felt a stirring. Deep within, he knew he was more than just a brand. He was an artist, a performer who had once set the world on fire with his music and charisma, a flicker of the old flame. The passion that had driven him to stardom was still there, waiting to be reignited. He longed to break free from the constraints that had been placed upon him. He was tired of the safe path. The routine that had become his life was stifling. He wanted to take risks, to push boundaries, to be the artist he knew he could be. Tired of the predictable movies. He wanted more. He needed more. The formulaic films and performances were not enough to satisfy his creative spirit. Producer Steve Binder listened to Elvis. He understood the frustration and the desire for something greater. Binder was a visionary, someone who saw beyond the commercial aspects. He saw the hunger in his eyes. Binder imagined something different, something raw, something real. He knew that Elvis had the potential to create something truly extraordinary, not a cozy Christmas sing-along, but something that would showcase the true essence of Elvis. A performance that would remind the world of his incredible talent and charisma. But a return to the essence of Elvis, the raw energy, the passion, the undeniable presence that had made him a legend. This was the vision that Binder and Elvis shared. A return to the power. This was a chance to reclaim his voice, to take back control of his career and his artistry. It was an opportunity to break free from the mold that had been cast for him, to remind the world who he was, not just a performer but an artist, a legend, the king of rock and roll. This was the road to rebirth, a journey back to the essence of Elvis Presley. The lights came up, a small stage, a tight band, and Elvis, dressed head to toe in black leather. He looked lean, he looked dangerous, like a panther ready to strike. The years of soft movies melted away. This was not the Hollywood Elvis, this was the Sun Records Elvis. The boy who had set the world on fire returned with a vengeance. He grabbed the microphone, he sneered, he smiled, he moved with that old magic, the hips, the legs, the voice. Oh, that voice, it was stronger than ever, richer, deeper, full of blues, full of gospel, full of rock and roll. He sang Heartbreak Hotel, he sang Hound Dog, he sang Jailhouse Rock, each song a lightning bolt. The special aired in December 1968. It was called simply Elvis. The world watched. and the world was stunned. Critics raved. They used words like triumphant, astonishing, a revelation. The man they thought was lost, the man they thought was finished. He was back, and he was magnificent. He had not just met expectations, he had shattered them. The public reaction was overwhelming. People who remembered the young Elvis, they fell in love all over again. A new generation who only knew the movie Elvis, they saw the truth for the first time. They saw the power, the charisma, the raw talent. Desert Mirage, the siren call of Las Vegas. After the comeback special, the question was, what next? Hollywood was no longer the answer. He needed a stage, a real stage, where he could connect with a live audience night after night. The idea of Las Vegas emerged. Vegas was changing. It was becoming a place for big stars, for spectacular shows. Kirk Kerkorian was building a new hotel, the International, the biggest in Vegas. The International Hotel wanted a superstar, someone to make a statement. Elvis Presley was that superstar. The Colonel saw the potential. Big money, a long-term engagement, control. For Elvis, it was a new challenge. Caesar in a jumpsuit conquering the International, July 31st, 1969. Opening night at the International Hotel. The showroom was packed, celebrities, high rollers, die-hard fans. The air crackled with anticipation, then the lights dimmed, the orchestra swelled. And Elvis exploded onto the stage. He wore a jumpsuit, a new look, part superhero, part showman. He was a vision, powerful, confident, ready. The show was a revelation. He sang his classic hits, blue suede shoes, all shook up, but they sounded new, recharged. He sang contemporary songs, Suspicious Minds, In the Ghetto. He made them his own. His voice was incredible. The weight of the crown, shadows in the spotlight. In the dazzling lights of Las Vegas, Elvis Presley found a stage that matched his larger-than-life persona. The city of neon lights and endless entertainment became his kingdom, where he reigned supreme. But behind the glitz and glamour, there was a different story unfolding. The success in Las Vegas was immense. Night after night, the showroom was packed with fans eager to witness the magic of Elvis live. His performances were electrifying, leaving audiences in awe and craving more. But it came with a price. The schedule was grueling. The demands of performing at such a high level took a toll on his body and mind. The endless rehearsals, the pressure to deliver perfection every single time, it was exhausting. 2 shows a night, sometimes for weeks on end. The relentless pace was unforgiving. There was little time to rest, to recover, to simply be. The energy required was enormous. Each performance demanded everything he had. The physical exertion, the emotional intensity, it was all-consuming. To give that much of himself every single night, to pour his heart and soul into every song, every movement, it was a testament to his dedication, but it was also draining. Began to take a toll. The fatigue was evident, the sparkle in his eyes dimmed, replaced by a weariness that was hard to hide. The spotlight was bright, but it also cast long shadows. He was the king, the crown was heavy, and the expectations were immense, but even kings grow weary. Off stage, life was different. The cheering crowds faded, the adulation was replaced by silence. The silence of a hotel suite could be deafening. The loneliness was palpable. The contrast between the stage and real life was stark. Elvis was surrounded by his entourage, the Memphis Mafia. They were his friends, his confidants. But even in their company, he often felt alone. But he often felt isolated, lonely. The weight of his fame was a burden he carried with him, always. The pressure to maintain the image, the king, the superstar, was constant. He needed to sleep. He needed to perform. The cycle was unending, and the toll it took was profound. Behind the gates of Graceland, the private war, the medication use grew. It was a secret war, fought in private, behind closed doors, in hotel rooms, and back home at Graceland. He sought relief from insomnia, from anxiety, from the physical pain of performing. Doctors were always willing to prescribe. He was Elvis Presley. Who would say no to the king? The pills offered a temporary escape, a false sense of control. His world became smaller, more insular. Graceland was his fortress, a place of comfort, but also a place of isolation. He surrounded himself with familiar faces, but true connection was hard to find. The King's Two Bodies legend and the lonely man. Elvis lived a dual life. On one hand, he was the dazzling superstar, the king of rock and roll whose name was synonymous with fame and success. On the other, he was a man grappling with the weight of his own legend. On stage, he was a god, the king, adored by millions. His voice filled arenas, his presence commanded attention. Every performance was a testament to his unparalleled talent and charisma. He brought joy to so many. The energy he exuded was infectious, and the love he received from his fans was boundless. They saw him as an almost mythical figure, larger than life. He created moments of pure magic. Each concert, each song was a piece of history in the making. His signature moves, his voice, his style, they all contributed to the legend that was Elvis Presley. The jumpsuits, the music, the legend, these were the elements that defined the public image of Elvis. They were symbols of his success and his enduring impact on the world of music. This was the public Elvis, triumphant, powerful, eternal. The image that was broadcast to the world, the one that fans held dear. This was the Elvis the world wanted, the icon, the superstar, the king, the man who could do no wrong in the eyes of his adoring public, and the Elvis he strived to be. He worked tirelessly to live up to the expectations placed upon him, always pushing himself to deliver the best performances. But there was another Elvis, the private man, the one who struggled with loneliness, with doubt. Away from the spotlight, he faced his own battles, ones that were hidden from the public eye, with the crushing weight of fame. The expectations, the pressure, the constant scrutiny, they all took a toll on him. He was a man who, despite his success, felt the heavy burden of his own celebrity, with the pills that promised escape but delivered only deeper shadows. In his quest for relief, he turned to substances that ultimately led him down a darker path. This Elvis was hidden from view. The struggles, the pain, the loneliness, these were aspects of his life that few were privy to, known only to a few. Those closest to him saw the man behind the legend, the one who wrestled with his own demons. This was the Elvis who wrestled with his own heart. The one who, despite his fame, sought meaning and connection in a world that often felt isolating. In the quiet hours, when the applause died down and the lights went out, his legacy is immense. It is a testament to both the man and the myth, the legend and the lonely man. Thank you for watching Elvis Presley, The Vegas Comeback and Inner Struggles, brought to you by Softbound. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.